Alright, so back. Consistency. So before I talk about consistency, what it means, like what I've been, I don't want to say dealing with, kind of learning about it. Before that, let me just tell you guys about something I realized recently. During the 75 hard challenge, those 8 days that I was actually like on the grind no matter what, I was working at 100% capacity, right? I was working at 100% capacity and I was always feeling tired. Yet, I was feeling so proud of myself that me being tired didn't mean shit. Because it just didn't mean shit. Because I woke up and I'd be tired, but I'm proud of myself. It just felt really good. I mentally know what it feels like for me to actually work at like 100% capacity now. I feel like for the longest time, I thought, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. I wasn't actually doing my best at any of those times because I now know what it feels like to work at my best. Now, I was talking to Akib about this, my boy Akib, and he was telling me like, yo, you got to be more fair to yourself because just because you can fucking run that fast or you can drive that fast for a short amount of time doesn't mean it's good for the car, right? So you'll just get further. You'll go farther if you just slow down a bit, more consistent, and you just keep pushing, right? But I'm not gonna lie, the feeling that I got from actually working at my highest potential, and again, if you guys ever read like Way of the Superior Man, which is like, bro, it might sound weird when you first read that book. You might be like, yo, this sounds weird, or like some of the concepts are kind of, but yo, to actually understand that book, there's parts of that book that even I don't understand, right? I just didn't think to myself, like I probably read it like 8 or 9 times now. And I think like, wow, I'm just not there yet. I'm not at the point where I can understand this chapter yet. One of the chapters that I actually like when on my reread right now, I actually understood was like living at your edge. Like, what did that mean? I could never really visualize what he meant, but imagine like there's a circle. The newer you are at something or the worse you are at something, that circle is going to be smaller. So the edge is not going to be too far from the middle point, right? But the bigger and bigger the circle gets, the better you get at something, the more progress you start making in something, the bigger that circle is going to expand. And you always want to be at the edge of that circle. So then it's going to feel like it's farther from the midpoint, which it is. He said to apply this concept in everything, like live your life at the edge. So whatever you're doing, always walk at the edge, right? And with that concept, I'm thinking like, okay, how I interpret that concept is whatever I'm doing, I need to make sure that that thing feels relatively hard. Like if I'm doing something and it's easy, and we don't even have to think in like gym examples. I feel like especially in like this community, like the self-improvement community, whatever, we always like to use the gym example. So let's actually go with the gym example first. So what does that mean? That means, let's say you're training for hypertrophy and your goal is always like 8 to 12 reps. By the time you get to that 12th rep, you shouldn't be able to get that shit up easily. It should be like a fight for your life. And that feels good. It does feel good when you're fighting for your life but what does that mean in like day-to-day tasks, right? So something I've switched up is before I'd like, let's say my mom's like, oh, do these chores or something, right? I'd give myself too much time to do it. I'd be like, okay, I'll do it in a bit, and then I'd like do it slowly. I'd be watching a podcast while doing it. I'd be all over the place while doing that thing. But if I'm applying that concept of live life on the edge to just cleaning my house, how would I do it? Think about it. You think about it, and then I'll tell you how I'm doing it. But just take a moment to just think about that for a second. Whatever you thought of, like just if just leave it in the comments. How would you live your life at the edge in your case? But for me, if we're talking about like the cleaning example, I would just set a timer and be like, within this time, I will get X done. And it feels like a pressure test in MasterChef. Like where there's a clock counting down against you and you have to get that done. When you're doing that, you just work at a faster rate. you do things faster, but you also get better while doing it the first time. So let's say you're just, I don't know, bro. Like, let's say even if you're folding clothes, right? But usually you take your time folding your clothes. If you're doing it under pressure, under a specific amount of time, and you want to do it as perfect as possible, aren't you gonna, every time you make that crease on your shirt and you're folding it, isn't it just gonna get better and better and better because you're doing it in a shorter and shorter and shorter amount of time every time? That's like it's like such a dumb example. It feels like such a dumb example, but it's true, because when you're just working like that, you're basically working at maximum capacity for every task possible. Now, the thing with consistency, it's very easy to be consistent when shit's going nice, when everything's going nice. For example, when I was doing 75 hard, and every day, like, I was tired, but I wasn't injured, I wasn't really too sore, like, the only thing was I'm tired. And me as a person, I can get over the fact that I'm tired. It's not that it's whatever. As soon as I got that sharp pain in my foot, that's when it kind of like, took me out. And then it killed my consistency, because one, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of like, it scared me. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this shit? But the second thing was, it gave me like a reason to run from the challenge that I was in the middle of. It gave me a reason to run away from it. And you guys probably like thinking like, why does this guy keep talking about something? Bro, like, to me, I actually wanted to achieve that. So I will achieve that this year. I'm just thinking, like, everything I do, I'm thinking like, okay, the next time around, how am I gonna make this work? Because I have to make it work. As soon as I was faced with a little bit of a setback, which was just my foot being in pain, I quit. I quit on myself, and my consistency just, that was something bad. Where else have I seen this before? Last year during the marathon prep, while I was going through the marathon prep, I tore my hamstring, and then what happened? I was doing bad habits. If you're in the self-improvement community here, then you probably know what bad habits are. Like, wasting my time doing this shit. And one day I told Rory, I'm like, bro, like, I'm in a rut again. And he's like, I vividly remember this. He was pushing a cart out of the corral. And he goes, yeah, but bro, you're injured. Like, like, it is what it is. Like, you got to rest and recover, like, whatever. And I told him, like, yeah, but don't you think it's crazy how before this, I was doing all this stuff, and then as soon as this injury happens, my life just, like, 180s. Right? It doesn't slightly get worse because I'm not running. It's not like I could still be training upper body if I really wanted to. If I was an anime character and I got my hamstring tore and I was like a main character, would I not be training my upper body or whatever I can, or like meditating, or like reading, or improving my mental health, or improving my brain or something? Wouldn't you be doing something when you're injured? Why would you just let yourself like go? Why would you just like, and I told him that, I'm like, yo, well, isn't it crazy how this happened? And all of a sudden, I'm not even reading anymore. Now I'm watching Netflix before going to bed. I used to read before bed, and now I'm watching Netflix before bed, even though I tore my hamstring. And maybe, yeah, let it slide for 2 days, but this was happening for weeks. And I'm just like, what the fuck? This makes no sense. Like, how did I get back to this? How did I get back to this, like, normal mode? And that's when I realized the smallest kind of problem in my life has always been resulting in me, like, just letting go of the consistency that I built up. So I'll have something going. I'll be uploading every day. I'll be running every day. I'll be training, blah, 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 whatever it is. And then something so small will happen, something negative. And then I'll just let everything go for no reason. It's so fucking stupid. Like, now that I, like, think about it. And something that's helped me think about this shit is like me meditating. Because when I meditate back in the day, I used to get a thought of my past or something wrong that I did, or, some kind of thought. And then I'd just be like, oh, stop thinking about that. Stop thinking about that. Stop thinking about that. Back to the. But now, even while I'm focused on the breathing, I pay attention to that thought and think, wow, that shit is right. Like I got this thought. about me not being consistent literally while meditating, because I'm like, okay, I've been very consistent with my training since last year. Obviously, I went from not being able to do muscle ups. I was training so infrequently before that, like frequently. So I would train, but I would have like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks, 1 week off, or something, like so infrequent. It wasn't like the discipline I wanted, right? It wasn't like the consistency I wanted. But last year, since last year, literally since February last year, I've been very consistent with my training. I don't think I've missed more than like 3 days in a row of like working out, which is good. Which is why this year, like last year, I was struggling with the 155 squat. Now I'm squatting 225. So obviously there's been progress that has been made. Fitness is only one part of my life. So I'm thinking, okay, what's the most important part for me that I really want to improve on? And that's the YouTube videos. That's where I have the most amount of friction, because making videos right now, sometimes I'll post a video or something and I just don't get the results that I wanted. It's true. Sometimes I'll spend a lot of time making a video and maybe that video doesn't do so well, and then it kind of bums me out. Not to the point where I don't want to post, but to the point where when something else also goes wrong, like let's say, I don't know, like, an injury or it's even coming home and having like a crazy argument with your mom or with my mom just throws me off like this, which makes no sense because these are all external factors. Consistency is literally you come home, have that argument with your mom or my mom. I have an argument with my mom, let's say, for example, right? Or arguing with your friends or something. I don't know. Let's say you just having a bad day. But that you feeling bummed out in the moment because you had that argument, that's a state of mind. You can control your state of mind. It's the only thing you really have control over. So in that moment when I'm thinking like, oh fuck this. I'm not doing shit now. Nah, fuck this. Instead of doing that, all I really have to do is switch my mindset to, shit. Okay, like just had that argument. All right, I'm gonna take like 10, 15 minutes off to just calm down again. And then I'm gonna get back to work because I'm a consistent individual. That is the mindset that I'm looking to have. That's what I want. Like I sound like a bitch just even saying like, that's what I want. Like because it sounds so easy, right? But when you're actually going through it, I realize it's not that easy, especially when you have like low XP in the skill of being consistent, right? Now, I wouldn't even say my consistency skill XP is like that low. I think it's decently high. I've been able to be consistent in at least 1 or 2 areas of my life, but now I'm just trying to bring the consistency as a whole. So I want to be consistent with my work, my diet, even showing, like, even though I work part-time, right? Even like showing up on time consistently instead of being late, even that's consistency. Or consistently like talking to all the people that I care about. Sometimes I go through phases where I don't talk to a lot of people, right? And then I feel kind of like some type of way when, I'm not very updated with their life, or maybe they're like, oh, you never want to see, you never want to see us. Whenever people say that to me, I get defensive because to me, it's like, it's not that I didn't want to see you. I was just so preoccupied with other shit in my life. But I want to be even consistent with that. I want to consistently be involved in, people's lives that I care about. Right? And it doesn't need to be like all that. I don't need to like even a simple phone call. Remembering to make that simple phone call goes a long way. And that's also consistency. You can control the actions that you do and be consistent with everything. Life could be going shit. Yesterday I was told, like, I remember when I told you guys in the vlog, like, yo, I applied for the supervisor position. I did not get that supervisor role, right? And I was feeling kind of bummed. It's kind of like, damn. It didn't affect me like that. I don't care that much. It was kind of like, now I have to, try to find another full-time job because I really need money. External things can keep happening, but literally the only thing you can control is like your mindset. So consistency has to be a mindset, even through tough times. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something that I'm literally going through right now, which this might be, I thought about it. I'm like, do I even really want to share this? But I thought this might be very beneficial for a lot of people. So now let's look at the opposite side of the spectrum. Consistency when your life is going great. Great as in, not because you're being consistent, but because of external factors. Just like how before we were talking about external negative factors, let's talk about external positive factors. So recently, I've been, seeing a new girl, and it's going pretty serious. I'm giving her like my time, my energy. No, I'm not just like, spending a few minutes here and there texting her. Like we're spending time together. Like Right, it's really nice. It's really nice. I know like the feelings that you get, seeing someone new. The emotions are so high. And those emotions, they literally feel like drugs. Like they feel so good. Like you just, you can be with her all day. Like you feel so complete in that moment. This is actually so tricky because I think this is way more dangerous than going through a negative time and having a hard time being consistent. Going through a happy phase of my life like this, right? Where, I'm seeing a new girl. I was decently posting 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was posting decently well. Then I started like posting less and less and less, right? And I'm seeing this girl more and more and more. I'm not gonna lie, like before this, if you went on my Instagram or you went on like, all my content was like self-improvement. Very much self-improvement focused. Things started getting more serious with this girl. My pages have been more like simp shit. That's what I'm gonna call it. Simp shit. Couple posts, this and that. Like, you know what I mean? You guys know what I mean, right? And it's fucking ridiculous how like social media companies, they literally have enough information where they can tell when you're in grind mode and when you want to see grind shit. But then as soon as something like this happens, they also can tell that, okay, this guy's now here, so let's show him. It's fucking ridiculous. Now I go on Instagram, now I'm seeing these posts. Now you're just like thinking about her and you're not thinking about the work that you should be doing. Or you were doing some work, but then she messages you or something. And yo, this is the thing. It comes down to me. And this is what I realized. Even when your life is going well, bro. Even when things are fucking amazing outside, your work, your purpose in life has to come first. Because remember, I could be seeing this girl, whatever. Things would be going amazing. Let's say she leaves. Where does that leave me again? I was in a relationship before this, obviously, like, I want to say like more than a year ago. And then I took like almost a year off because I'm just like, bro, I need to fix myself. Like I can't be going through like, let's say a breakup and then feeling like shit. The thing is, my last breakup, I didn't feel like shit because that time I was still putting out work. I was grinding, right? Which is why I actually got, like, I don't want to say I got over that fast, but it didn't have like an emotional block on me. Like, there's been other times where I've gone through breakups, but my life has just been like shit during that period. Shit, like I wasn't doing anything other than talking to the girl. Like, just being in that relationship. I feel like back then, if the relationship is the most important part of your day, it's the most important thing, then if that relationship ever breaks down, then you're gonna feel empty. Because that's all you had. But even during my last breakup, the reason why I didn't have such an emotional like fuck up for me, like, yo, I was sad, I was upset, obviously. They're just normal emotions. But it didn't stop me from working out. Didn't stop, like, again, because one, I feed off negative emotion. So it's really good, actually, when you use those negative emotions to fuel you in your work. But number two, it's like I was already working. Like I was doing a lot already. So I didn't feel like that. But now, because I'm now at the opposite, I'm not going through a breakup. Right now, I'm going through like the early stages of seeing someone. And during the early stages, everything is at its highest. You still have to remember that even though everything's up here right now, you never want to let yourself go. One, because bro, like, you got to think about it. This shorty, she doesn't like me because I'm a bum. It's facts, bro. There's no way I'm a bum and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's because I have, I'm doing shit with my life. Like, I know where I'm going. You're talking to shorty and you let yourself go in the process. You're not only doing a disservice to yourself, first of all, that's the biggest thing. Because, bro, if you find a map and you're like, okay, I'm going somewhere, then someone comes, you're walking, someone else tags along with you, and you just fucking throw out the map and start walking randomly. What? The person is hanging out. The person joined you on your quest because you have the map. You can't toss the map as soon as a person shows up. Bro, it doesn't work like that. And I'm realizing that. Like, bro, my work is the most important thing. Being consistent when you're having such a good moment of your life is also very difficult, which is why a lot of people let themselves go as soon as they they get into a relationship, they cheat on their diet, then they start skipping workouts, then they do and I'm not gonna drop names, but more than one or two people in my friends, we've talked about this because they've gone through maybe similar shit, who are actually very motivated individuals. They've gone through phases pretty recently where, they're dealing with a shorty, they have shit to do, but they want to deal with the shorty, so they don't do what they gotta do. And then it leaves them feeling empty, especially when things with the shorty don't go the way you want it to. I used to tell them, yo, you gotta do what you gotta do first, and then go chill with the shorty. Cause yo, if you're chilling with the shorty, but you have so much shit that you were supposed to do, the good feeling that you being with her, right? It's just a mask. It's the same as literally fucking getting high. Think about it. You're seeing her, you're happy, blah, blah, blah. But in the back of your head, you just know, damn, I should have applied to jobs. I should have fixed my resume. I should have edited that video. I should have done this. I should have, you just know. Why you want to be chilling with her? Why you want to be with the girl and you can't even give her, your full presence? You can't even be present with her. That's unfair to her again. And, and it's also unfair to you, because why can't you enjoy that to the maximum ability? Why should you be holding back because you were a piece of shit and you didn't do, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's just better when you're consistent with your shit. Just be consistent with your shit as much as possible. And consistency doesn't need, again, bringing it back to what me and Akib were talking about. You don't need to be working at 100% capacity every single day, because yes, it's going to be tough. But on the days you can't work 100%, at least work 70, at least work 80, at least work, That's how I even made progress in the gym. I realized that on the days where I didn't really want to train, I still trained, maybe not at 100 million% intensity, but at least at 70%, at least at 60%, at least I would show up and I'll be like, let me just do one exercise, 4 sets. And then I'd be like, you know what, I'm already here. Let me just do one more exercise, 4 sets. Now that's 8 sets. Now I've made some progress. And then now I can go home if I want to. If not, I can stay. It's the same thing, yo. Just show up, just show up, just show up, just show up, just show up. Consistency. And the consistency will bleed into other aspects of your life. Because if you're consistent with your purpose, if you're consistent with what your calling is, then the other parts of your life, whether it's a relationship, how consistent you are with that, how consistent you are with your friendships, even with my friends, I consistently chill with them more, and I spend more time with them when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. When I'm not doing what I'm not supposed to be doing, when I'm not doing it, then I feel guilty. Then I don't want to go chill. I don't want to go spend time and shoot the shit. But if I'm consistent with what I'm supposed to be doing, if I'm doing, if I'm working on my mission, if I'm working on my purpose, then when they ask me to hang out, I actually want to go and hang out, because it's now going to elevate how I'm feeling. I already did everything I had to do. I'm feeling proud of myself. Now let me go chill with my friends. I'm going to feel a lot better about the situation. Let me go chill with the girl. Let me go see her, and now that's going to feel amazing, right? This is true. This is all I'm bro, I'm going through it so I can give you advice, because I'm picking this shit up. I'm working on it right now. I'm going through it right now, brother. So trust me. If you always thought why am I not being consistent, and your life's going, it's because while your life is going, you're letting yourself go. You're like, fuck, everything's so bad, blah, 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 I'm gonna, and you don't need to hit rock bottom for you to bounce back up. You can catch yourself right here. It's like you're rock climbing. Just because you miss a step doesn't mean you gotta drop all the way down. You can just catch yourself and keep going. And same thing, just because you're going up, just doesn't mean that you're going up in all aspects of your life, right? So it's just some food for thought. You can really think about that. And all right, that's the end of the video. Seed Reaper signing out. Peace out, everybody.